Hello and welcome to your next tutorial in Visual Basic. And in this tutorial we're going to be covering constants, strings, and a bunch of functions that you can use with strings. So allow me to point out that between the last video and this video I changed my input variables to just x and y, and all of them are now strings. And as for the two text boxes, they now are, whatever information you put in there are now converted to strings instead of singles, since we're going to be dealing with strings anyways. So allow me to explain constants really quickly. So basically you use the constant keyword, const, when declaring a variable, so I'll call it z, and you set it to whatever data type you want. And constants, basically what they are is they're some sort of variable that you declare and initialize at the same time, so you can set it equal to a number or a string or another variable. And once that happens, it can never change. Over the course of the runtime of the application, it cannot change. So you have to initialize it at the same time as declaring it. And if we go down here for an example and throw in z plus equals, I don't know, 6 and click away, notice how we now have an error. It's underlined. It says constants cannot be the target of an assignment. That's because, well, we cannot change their values. So that's about it for constants. There isn't really much I want to show you with that. So let's get into strings. So basically we're just going to be messing with whatever strings we put in there. So I'm going to just be messing with one string for now. So let's get into this. So the first function I'd like to show you with strings is, and sure, I could just set this equal to a string and just mess with it and whatever, but I'd rather use our own strings because that's more fun. But anyways, the first one I want to show you is the whoops, did I spell that right? I don't think so. The ASC. And basically what that does is it converts first character of a string to its corresponding numerical value. Yes, a little bit complicated. But basically it's going to read your string, and whatever the first character is, it's going to convert it into its number, its value. And as you'll see, numbers that are strings will not necessarily convert to the number that you think. And you'll see that in a moment. So I'll go label outputs dot text is equal to, and then I'll throw an ASC, and then inside that I'll throw in our variable x. So if I click save and then I run the application and I throw in like apple, 97 is returned. That's because A's numerical value is 97. You throw in B, now it's 98. You throw in D, it's 100. And basically it keeps incrementing up by 1. If I put in like 0 less, I don't know. So basically it's going to be looking at the 0. You get 48. If you throw in a 1, it's 49. A 2, it's 50. And it keeps going up by 1. But as you can see, the 0 as a string is not 0 numerically. It starts at 48. So we will learn about data type conversion in a future video, not yet, but an old method of converting from, if you're looking for integers in a string and you want to convert them to actual numbers, you would take their value, like we are right here, and then you would subtract 48. Because no matter what it is, like look, if you throw in 5, which comes out as 53, well, 53 minus 5 is, 53, this would come out as 53 minus 48 is equal to 5, and that's how you would fetch that information. So that's about it for that one. The next one I'd like to show you is the length, or len, whoops. So returns number of characters in string. So that's what the length is. So if I throw in len as such, save, and then build and run. If I throw in apple again, I should get 5, because there's 5 characters in the string. And that's about it for length. There isn't really much to show with that one. And the next one I'd like to show you is the isNumeric. Whoops. There we go. isNumeric. And basically what that does is it'll return a Boolean value of true or false, whether or not whatever you typed in is a number. So if I throw in 456, notice how it's converting it as a string, right? Right here, it's converting to a string. But it's going to tell us if it's a number or not. So we get true. If I throw in the midst of this, for an example, D, which is a letter, now we get false because it's no longer a number. And that's about it for that. And isNumeric is really good for like an if statements, for an example. If you're doing character counting, going through each character to see, like maybe you're combining this with the ASC and you're just trying to just convert whatever numbers are inside of string. So that's really, really nice. And that's about it for that. The next thing I'd like to show you is concatenation. Actually, let me throw in the last one is numeric. True, false. Whoops. Of whether string is a number. Okay, so now the next one's not a function. So sorry, I scratched my nose, so my voice must have muffled. Concatenation is combine two or more strings using either a plus sign, which is what I'm going to use because all programming languages pretty much use the plus sign, or the ampersand. But I'm going to use the plus sign because pretty much all the other languages use that, and I would rather teach you what what you'll most likely be using in the future. So let's concatenate two strings. So I'll have both of these. We're going to be using both of these now, and I'll just throw in x plus y. So I'll click save, and then when I build this, I'll throw in something like, "Hello, my name is," and then space. So make sure you have a space there, and Adam. I click calculate, and now it concatenates the two strings. Also bear in mind that if you ever create a string in here and you plan to have it concatenate, please, or I don't know, you are, and then whatever your name you want to concatenate with or something, when you create a string, make sure you leave yourself a space in case you want something to continue right after that. Otherwise, the two strings would be right next to each other, the two characters, and, well, you won't like that. So that's concatenation. The next one is the compare. Whoops, I forgot to have the two little parentheses in here. For the compare, what you do for this one is you type in strcomp, so string compare, and then you throw in two strings like this. Boolean value of whether these strings are the same. I hope I spelled everything right. And so we have both of these, and then we'll be using our total again. Actually, no, we don't have to use the total yet. So for this, we'll be throwing in strcomp and the two strings we want to compare, x and y. So I'll click save, and then I'll build this. So I'll type in high and high. And we get 0. 0 is the Boolean value of true. If I type in bye for by, now we get 1. And actually, you know what? This is backwards. This is okay. You know what? This is a little weird. You'll have to think a little backwards. Boolean values, usually 1 is true and 0 is false. So this is actually backwards. I have no way of telling you how to remember that because obviously I didn't remember that. I was just dumbfounded. 1 in Boolean value means true, but for some reason here, if they're different, it's going to give you 1, while if they're the same, it gives you 0. But 0 usually means false, and 1 usually means true, but this is a rebel. Opposite Boolean value. Okay. Okay, so yeah, do that. So that would work out. The next one I'd like to show you is containment, and basically it'll look for whether or not the second value is in the first one. So I'll put down in string like this, and checks whether y is in x. So it's something like that. So in here I'll type in INSTR. There you go. I'll click save, and I'll build, and I don't know, I'll type in something, I don't know, BYE and BY. So I'll calculate, and you know what? Now it's actually true. because by is in by, because it's checking the y, and see now it's giving me a 1 as true. That's just weird. But if you go the other way around, now we get 0, which means false. So, yeah. Is Boolean value. So, weird stuff, but there you go. It's, I guess you can blame Microsoft for the confusion with this one. This one's a black sheep, I'm telling you. And what else do I want to show you? Substrings. So this is the last one I'll show you, and it's dealing with substrings. And this one is a little weird. You know, I'll just show it to you like this. So you type in MID with a $sign, and then within that you type in the variable name. I'll put an underscore. So the first piece of information you put in there is the name of the variable. The start position for where you want to start the substring, so you can get a piece of it, and how many characters thereafter that you would like to include in that. So, yeah, I don't think I need this. So I'll click save, and let's see here. What do I want to do? Oh yeah, let me just throw in some parentheses, substrings. And then in here, I'll throw in the MID, the weird little $sign. And we want to mess with X. Let's say we want it to start with the second character and go for, how long do you want to go? 3 characters? I think that should work. So I'll click save, and then when I build, I'll throw in, I don't know, my last name, Huntley. I'll click calculate, and what happens is it started with the looking at X, which is this. It started with the second character, which was the U, and then it went for 3 characters long, 1, 2, 3, and that's about it. I want you to bear in mind that when you work with this, I want you to know that you can always make these variables as well that the user can control. You know what? I have time. Let me show you. So y is equal to c string. I know I have time this time, so I'll actually do that. Dot text. So you can do all sorts of things, and then make this right here, either one of them y. Let's do that one. So I'll press F5, and then I'll type in my last name again, and let's go 4 this time. So I click calculate, and see it didn't just go UNT, it went UNTL. It did 4, yeah. So just remember, there's all sorts of different things that you can do with these, and yeah, this is really fun. We're really learning how to do lots of things. So just remember all these kind of things. I'll leave it right here so you can look at these and copy these down. And there's resources on the internet if you'd like to learn more. And don't forget a textbook. Textbooks really help too. They're definitely a necessity, especially for learning something harder like C++ or Java. Sorry it's late, I'm getting tired. But yeah, I hope this tutorial was useful for you, and I'll see you next time.